So if you're ready to put your first product onto Amazon and you're a little bit unfamiliar with the whole process and want to know how to do it the most effective way possible, in this video, I'm going to show you guys a step-by-step tutorial of me showing you guys and walking you guys through on my laptop the entire process of how to set your product up on Amazon. Now, with that being said, I'm going to show you guys 6 tips that you need to have the most visible and the highest chances of having success on Amazon with your new listing, and things that you need to be watching out for and need to be including into that listing. So with that being said, let's get into it. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know down below in the comment section. Also like the video and subscribe because I release multiple videos every single week for you guys. So the very first tip is starting your listing early. So as soon as you figure out exactly what product you want to get made and that you want to actually sell on Amazon, it's very, very important that we start actually going to Seller Central and actually creating the product listing. Now, with that being said, this is very simple and does not take very much. All you simply need is to have the title, a UPC barcode, preferably GS1. I'll talk about that in a second. And just a couple main images / pictures. You honestly only need a single image. And then those 3 things, the UPC barcode, the title, and the image, will allow you to create your listing early on in the process. Now, why is this important? The main reason why you want to create your listing early in the process and not wait, till you start getting units manufactured and you already spent money and thousands of dollars or whatever it is because you can be hit with a specific test that you have to pass in order to actually sell that product. Now, for example, for my very first product that I was trying to sell, I got hit with a pesticide and pesticide devices test that I needed to pass in order to sell that product. Now, was I actually selling a pesticide / pesticide device? No, I was actually trying to sell a face mask, a cloth face mask. And so they hit me with a pesticide / pesticide device test. I passed it, but still I was not able to actually sell that face mask even though I passed the test. And so once again, this is not the normal case. If you pass the test, a lot of times you will be able to sell the item, but specifically because of this PPE equipment, the whole coronavirus pandemic, they were taking it very seriously. And so for most tests, it's very simple. It's, a couple, you spend maybe an hour studying for it. You take a couple questions. You can even honestly find these answers online for the test. And essentially you want to be seeing if you put a product online, create the test listing, if there's going to be anything that you have to actually, pass in order to sell that item. And so that's very, very important, because imagine if I would have ordered 500 units, 1,000 units, and I, had to take a test, I passed it, or even if I failed it, whatever it was. Imagine if I couldn't actually sell that item, then, I would be putting myself at a big potential to have a lot of risk, and all those units I had already made, I can't sell them. So it's just a bunch of wasted money. So you really want to be making sure that you're taking this serious and creating a test listing early in the process. And it only requires you to have the title, a UPC barcode, and a couple product pictures. Actually, only a single product image. So the title, the barcode, and a single image will allow you to actually create your test listing. And once again, once it's created, we can see whether or not we're going to get hit with having to pass X, Y, and Z. And most of the times, it's not the case that you have to do a test or you have to pass this or that, but you just want to be making sure that that's the case for your specific product. If you're getting any value out of this video, make sure to like it down below, and also consider subscribing because I release multiple step-by-step tutorials on how you can start your Amazon FBA today with me. Now, how do we create a product? So we simply come to Seller Central, as we can see, and we come over to the left-hand corner and we click on catalog and basically add a product. Now, for our specific product and what we're doing is we're doing private label. And let's say if you weren't doing private label, you would basically just search up your product by the UPC code or however you're going to find that product. Let's say you're reselling someone else's product that's already on Amazon. It already has a product catalog created. But for our specific purposes, we're doing private label. So we're adding a product not sold on Amazon. So you want to click that. And then basically this is where you actually categorize your specific product. Now, this is very, very important that you pick the best category and the best subcategory. This is where a lot of people leave money on the table and they can get actually lost in the results if they're not putting themselves up for the best success possible. Now, what do I mean by that? Let me show you guys a specific example. Let me discard this really quick. But for a specific example, we can go to Amazon.com. And let's say we wanted to actually sell a heating pad. So if we click search heating pad, right? We want to be picking, once again, the best category and the best subcategory. So if we scroll down, we can easily see that the Helium 10 extension, which is very useful, shows us the main category, health and household, health and household, health and household, the main category that these products are in, as well as the subcategory, heating pad, heating pads, And then if we scroll down, we can basically, what we want to do is compare the main category and the subcategory position. Now, what do I mean by that? If we look here, we can see that health and household at an 1800 rank is number 8 in heating pads. But right here, health and household at a 1300 rank is number 1 in adhesive heat patches. And so since it's number 1 in any subcategory, it gets a bestseller rank. The closer and closer you can get to being a bestseller in a specific subcategory, the better and better it's going to be for your product. And so we can really see this even more if we look at the 1300 position in health and household versus the 800 position in health and household. This guy is number 5 in heating pads, but this guy's number 1 in adhesive heat patches. And so this bestseller rank, even though he has a worst health and household ultimate BSR, he's doing better because his subcategory is less competitive. So when we can niche down and find less competitive subcategories that are still relevant to our main product, those are the ones that we're going to be wanting to enter in for our specific listing that we're creating. And so when we're creating a listing on Amazon, we want to be making sure that we're entering in the correct subcategories. That's very important. And so we can already see that, adhesive heat patches are going to be a lot less competitive than heating pads. And so that is what we want to go with. Once again, though, if it's relevant, that's what you want to go with. But for your product, if it's not relevant, then, you should steer clear of that and just stick to products and subcategories that are more relevant but less competitive. So furthermore, to actually enter in this specific category, if we click on adhesive heat patches, we can see exactly what categories he selected to get down to this subcategory. So he went from health and household to healthcare to OTC medications and treatments, pain relievers, all the way to heat patches. So we want to take this exact same route when we're putting our product on Amazon. So health, household, healthcare, OTC. So once again, we want to come to health and household, and then we want to go to healthcare, then we want to scroll down to OTC medications and treatments, and just keep going all the way down. Then he had pain relievers and heat patches. So pain relievers and heat patches, wherever that's at. It may just be, let's see, if we go to maybe hot and cold therapies, and then heat patches. Here we go. So once we select that specific category, we're going to have a lot more chances of actually being closer and closer to hitting that BSR than if we were to go straight into heating pads, which was a more competitive category than heat patches. Once again, we want to be making sure that we're sticking to the low competition subcategories as much as we can, and really make sure they're directly related to our specific product. Now for the product ID, this is where we actually enter in our specific UPC code. And so if we select the product identifier, it's going to be the UPC. And specifically what UPC codes are basically going to be basically your product's identification number to actually allow it to be placed into Amazon's catalog. Now, with that being said, there are multiple UPC codes that you can use. You can use a UPC code from a reseller site such as UPC Bay, or there's a million reseller sites who basically have old UPC codes that they're recycling and selling back to you. Now, we have that option, or we can go with the GS1 codes. Now, these are going to be codes that have never been issued out to anyone ever, and so they're going to be more expensive, but once again, they're more legitimate, and this is what Amazon honestly recommends. Now, can you get away with going with the UPC resold codes? Yes, you can, but at the end of the day, if you're going to have a product that's going to be up on Amazon for multiple months and years to come, you're going to be using the most high quality code. And so I definitely recommend GS1 codes, even though they are more expensive. And to see if you guys a price on that UPC codes, you can get anywhere from like 10 to 50 for 10 to 50 bucks. Whereas if you get a GS1 code, each code could end up being, anywhere from $30 to $50. And so once again, they are more legit, and this is what Amazon actually recommends. And so a quick resource to get GS1 codes is to simply come to mygs1us.org. And basically you can see the fees right here. For 1 to 10 codes, you're going to be paying around $250. And then if you want to get 100 codes, $750, $1,000, $2,500. And so for each code, you should be expecting to pay anywhere from $25 to 50 bucks once again. And so, once again, they are more legit, and this is what I would recommend as a new seller. You want to be using the highest quality code you can use. And so, once again, it is a string of around 12 letters. So we'll just basically type in a bunch of letters. And then for the product specific name, now this is where you actually want to be very, very specific. Now we can include our brand name in this along with keywords, or we can include just specific keywords and specific search terms that we want to actually rank for. Now, for this specific product, we have, it is an adhesive heating patch. And specifically, if we go back to it, the keywords that they were actually trying to index are going to be extra large electric heating pad. Now, this is very important. When we're setting up our specific listing, we want to be having these specific keywords because it actually allows us to index in Amazon's and also in Google, which is an external traffic source to get more and more sales. It allows us to index in their actual algorithm. So when someone comes on Google and types in electric heating pad, extra large, whatever it is that you're indexing for with the product name, then you can actually pop up and get additional sales from Google as well as Amazon. So it's very important. So how do we do this, and how does this even make sense? So basically, let me show you guys a quick example. If we come down to this product listing, right, and we click on it, what we can see is the actual canonical URL, which is basically what you will see if you type in a specific keyword for Google. So if we come to view page source, this is really quick. I want to show you guys this because it's very, very powerful, and you need to be making sure that you're titling in your initial product listing creation the right keywords. And so if we click Command F, we can type in canonical, can't even spell, there we go. And then we have the specific XL heating pad electric shoulder. So this specific URL has the XL heating pad electric shoulder. So if we come into Google and we type in that specific string, let me show you guys exactly what happens. XL electric heating pad shoulder. Now this is where it gets very powerful. Now what pops up? We scroll down. Now we have Amazon right here. This exact listing, or it's actually right here. These are ads. It's the exact listing. The first organic result is once again going to be the same exact product. Look familiar? Giuliani extra large electric heating pad. And so this is where when we actually come and create our initial listing, if we're having specific keywords that we have along with our brand name, you can choose to use your brand name or not, it doesn't really matter, but make sure that you're having, your brand name is a single word and then 4 other specific hyper relevant keywords that you're trying to rank for, and you're saving it initially as this, coming back to it later once you pass all the tests and you can actually sell this product, which a lot of times is not going to be any test, but once again, you want to be creating it early and having the specific keywords and then coming back and actually being able to rank for these in Google. That's very important. So once again, for this example, it was electric, XL electric heating pad shoulder. And the brand name, for this one, it was Giuliani. Obviously, for your own brand, you want to have your specific brand name. Now, for the brand name and for the manufacturer, since you are doing private label and getting your products created, you are the actual manufacturer. You don't want to put your specific manufacturer in China. You want to be using your brand name as a manufacturer because you as a brand are manufacturing this product. And that's very important. So manufacturer, and specifically for this and for some electrical items, you will need a manufacturing part number, and this is very simple to find. You just want to simply ask your manufacturer for it, but for most products, you may not need this. And so, once again, if you do though, you could simply ask your manufacturer or just Google specifically what your product is, and a lot of times you can find these codes on Google. Now, is this product expirable? No, it is not. The packing quantity is going to be 1. The unit count is going to be 1, unless you were selling like a bundle or something. The unit count type, once again, this is going to be, it is let's just put a fluid ounce. The heat sensitive, no. Once again, because we're selling a specific electronic, this is where it asks a lot of these questions. For most products that you're selling though, that are just plastic or whatever, or cloth material, you won't be answering all these questions. But once again, you're going to be using the manufacturer part number, find it out with your manufacturer and enter it in here. It's very simple. And once we do this, we can come over to the offer. Now, this is where we enter in our next technique, which is where you're actually putting in a low offer to start your product. Now, this is very, very important and a lot of times overlooked. And people, they want to be selling a product for, let's say, $40. And so they'll start off selling for $40. Even though you intend to sell for $40, you don't want to start it there. I would much rather see you guys starting your product for $30, even $25, offering a really, really good deal for all your customers. You could even be, a lot of times, even losing money or just breaking even. But what it will do is that you will get a lot more sales to start, and that velocity will help you in the algorithm. You'll be indexing for more keywords, which helps you index for more keywords, and helps you do better in the algorithm and get more sales. And all these multiple things are going to help you get more and more boosted in the algorithm. So then after you start with a low price, you can easily inch it up $1 to, I would recommend more than $1 a day, but $1, here and there. And then essentially you will get back to that $40 price, but you actually have sales rank and you actually have an algorithm boost. Whereas if you're pricing $40 to start, you may not get sales, and ultimately you're going to do worse and worse in the algorithm than if you played the low game at first and got sales, got reviews, got sales, got index for keywords. Everything is going to be working for your advantage if you price it low in the beginning. Just please trust me on this. It's very essential. Now, if we click on more attributes, we can see additional information that they are not showing us. And so specifically, once again, the standard price for this item, we will do, we're gonna sell it for $40, but we're gonna start it off with $25. And so specifically for the sale price, we can say that this product is actually worth $40. And actually it was the list price, how much we got it created for, also again, $40. And so Amazon will also see that as you're selling it for a lower price, but your item is actually worth more. And so a lot of times what they will do is actually push your item more so than items that were, had a list price of $25, but the sale price was $25 or $30. So you want to be making sure that your standard price that you're actually selling it for is higher than your actual sale price and list price. And that's a little bit confusing, but hopefully that makes sense. And you want to have your standard price, which is what's going to be shown on Amazon.com, to be the lowest price possible. Once again, we're going to inch this up slowly, but we want to get these sales rank moving. Now, item condition. We're going to select new, obviously, because we're selling new products. Maximum order quantity. So this is if you want to be controlling how many units someone can actually order. There's really no reason to have a specific max order quantity. I know back in the old days, if you had competitors who wanted to buy your inventory and put you out of stock for a couple months, because it might take more time to get more units over, but essentially that's not really happening. And so you could set this to 10 or to 5 or to 2, whatever it is, but essentially I don't really touch this because they can buy as many as they want, honestly. Handling time. Once again, these are not necessary. Can this item be gift offering? Can be gift message? Yes, I usually choose that. Is it gift wrap available? Yes, as well. So someone could, gift this item, and Amazon will basically gift wrapped it up for them, send it out to the item to the eventual customer, and basically it can be a giftable item. So there's really no reason in not doing that. Once again, you don't need to have the offer start date or the restock date, but fulfillment channel. You're going to be doing FBA so that Amazon is going to be picking, packing, and shipping out all your items once you get a customer order. They're going to be taking care of all that for you. You don't want to be doing FBM. So after we do all of that, we can basically just come back to hit save and finish. And a lot of times they actually do require images. Right here, we can see that they're not actually having an image requirement. But back here, if we go to vital information, the only thing that they want left was the, I believe it was the manufacturer part number. But once again, this is just strictly for example. I'm not going to actually save and continue this. But other things that you're going to need to be doing, if you're just starting and having a test listing early on in the process, this is all you need to do. But if you're actually creating an actual listing, you need to have specific images. And so for the image requirements that Amazon actually wants you to do, so we have to upload an image, and specifically what we have is the actual product by itself on a white background. That is what Amazon basically requires. And so once again, for example, it is the product along with the product packaging. If you have product packaging that can, once again, I've shown in previous videos how that can really, really increase the amount of clicks you actually get. When someone's searching the term heating pad, they're scrolling. If no other packages are shown, but your product shows the product and the product packaging, and the product packaging looks very nice, then that is a real good way to get clicks and get people onto your listing and eventually getting more and more sales. But once again, you want to be having your main image on a white background, as well as all your supporting images. These other images can be whatever you want them to be, but preferably in this first image, you can't have a person. Once again, the person's on the package. So that was actually a very smart thing they did. They actually put the person on the package, which I actually have never thought of. But you can't have people. But in this specific scenario, they're getting away with it because they have a a girl with the heating pad on her shoulder on the product packaging. But once again, your additional images can have lifestyle pictures, someone using it, someone, relieving their shoulder, whatever it is, you're gonna be really painting a picture. I have a whole product image video. If you guys want to check it out, click right here, it will be linked. And essentially you want to be making sure that you're having as many images that are really converting the customer as possible after this first image. Next, we have the product description. Now, for the product description, this gives you the additional space to actually index for more and more keywords and actually describe your actual product. If we go back here, we can see that they have a product description, most likely, but for their product description, they have enhanced brand content. Now, this is where you actually get the ability to have pictures. For normal descriptions, you don't have this ability to have pictures. Once you get a trademark and you have brand registry, which costs around, $800 to get trademark order to create a trademark for you, you will have this ability to have these big pictures that can really even do more and more to convert your customer. But once again, to start your product, you're not going to have trademark. I don't even recommend having brand registry and trademark because you don't know if your product actually is going to do sales. And even if you know it's going to do sales, you still don't want to be actually investing money into this unless you actually have sales and you are actually going to reorder and keep going on with your process. That's very important. Now, for the product description, you can have a couple of paragraphs, whatever you want to have for that. But more importantly than the product description is the actual key product features. Now, what does this look like? If we go back to the main example, we have the key product features, which are going to be about this item. So we have 5 bullet points that's really selling what your product is. That also has keywords stuffed into these bullet points, so you can actually help index and rank for more and more search terms. People search a specific search term, your product actually popping up and indexing/ranking for that search term. That's very important. So for these, once again, we would want to have, for this example, this is how it would look. You would have a bullet point that you have keywords inside as well as that are talking about what your product is. You paste it and you click add more. And once again, you want to have 5 bullet points at least. I believe 5 is actually the max, so you want to make sure you're doing at least 5 bullet points. I wouldn't do anything less, so 5 at least. If 6 is a max, then I would do 6, but I'm pretty sure 5 is the max. Let me just check. Add more. And basically, you want to be having as many of these as you possibly can. Once again, so we have 5 as the max. And once again, the product description, you should have a couple of paragraphs/sentences. It's not too important, but once again, it does give you additional keywords to actually rank. So I would use it as opposed to not using it. But more importantly, the key product features and the actual title is going to give you the most ranking/indexing for keywords. That is very important that you're having specific keywords in your title and in your actual product key features. And so once we do the description, we have the title, we have the images, all of that, and we went through each of these tabs for keywords. Now, this is another place where you can put more and more actual keywords into your listing. Now, for this, we want to have, so they have basically our target audience, intended use, other attributes, subject matter, and search terms. Now, for the search terms specifically, this is where you put additional keywords. So once again, I have a whole tutorial on how to get keywords using Helium-10 Cerebro and Helium-10 Magnet. It's going to be linked right here. Make sure to click on that if you're not familiar with keywords. But once again, keywords are going to allow your product to actually be visible on Amazon. So when someone searches a specific search term, your product pops up in front of them, and that first picture actually gets a click and ultimately gets them in the door to actually purchase your product. Now, for the keywords, you want to be having as many keywords as you can that you were not able to put into the actual title and into the bullet points. Now, this is also where we can have specific misspellings, specific Spanish keywords that are very, very important because people are not only thinking about, people are actually only thinking about U.S., or English speakers to buy their products, but there's just as many people in the U.S. who speak Spanish who also are on Amazon who are typing in the major search terms in Spanish, and so that's a whole other population that you could be catering towards. And specifically for these search terms, you can't actually see it in your listing, but it's on the back end, and so you can be indexing for more and more keywords. This is very important. Now, you're going to be having, once again, these keywords strategically placed, and these are going to be misspellings, the other keywords that cannot fit, and these Spanish keywords that you're putting in here. And specifically, I don't remember exactly how many you can add, but we can just paste it till we can see. And so once again, after you add all the keywords that can fit in here, you want to just max it out as many as you can. You can also put keywords in subject matter, but once again, the search terms, the key product features, along with the description and the product title, are going to be where you're really indexing for all these keywords that you're actually using based on search volume that are hyper relevant to your product. That's going to allow your product to actually be discoverable. Now, another key thing that you cannot skip and that you cannot forget is having a variation listing. Now, what does this mean? Let's say we're selling a t-shirt and we have a variation in the style or a variation in the color or the size or whatever it is. If you do not set up a variation listing before you click save and finish, then you cannot come back into it later on and add other variations. You actually can, but it's a complicated process and you have to do multiple things by creating other listings, and it's just a whole process. So it's very important that you do this early on in the process because it makes your job a lot easier. Now, how do we do this? We can basically come down and choose, let's say we want to have a color variation. We choose color, right? And then we basically add the color. Let's say we're doing a black one, or let's just say it's green, right? Let's say, and then we click add. And basically, only the things that we need are going to be, once again, the UPC code, specifically the GS1 code that we would have, a string of 12 characters, whatever it is. Once again, we're going to click UPC. We want to select the item condition. It's going to be new. We want to have the standard item price. Once again, we're going to start low, $25, and we're going to have the quantity. You can have, doesn't really matter. You can even change it later. But once again, whatever you send to Amazon is what they're going to sell. This doesn't matter too much. You can just put, let's say we're selling 50 units. And then we would save and finish, and then we would add as many variations as we're planning on selling, so that, once again, once you add a variation, that does not mean you have to sell it. It just means that you have the ability to sell it if you ever get in stock for it. And so you definitely want to be adding that. If you have other ideas and other colors, sizes, whatever already in your mind, make sure you create a variation listing in the beginning so that you don't have to go down the path of actually figuring out how to do it later, which you can do it, and I've done it, but it is kind of a headache, and this is the easiest way to do it. Now, once all this is done, we have everything filled out. All we have to do is click save and continue, or save and finish, and then your product will be actual live. And then so Amazon will review it in, I think it's 28 to 48 hours. And basically they'll let you know if it goes live and specifically what you have to do next. And the next process could be, okay, maybe you have to do a test, or maybe you don't. Maybe your product is fine. And in most cases it will be, but once again, if you get hit with a test, it's very simple. You can honestly find these answers online, or you can just basically study the test like I've done. And it's very simple. It's maybe 15 minutes to an hour, 2 hours worth of material that you have to watch in the form of videos, and then answer a couple of questions and pass the test. It's pretty simple. But one last thing that I want to cover is actually split testing your main image, because if you have your main image and it gets clicks versus one that does not, then that person who gets clicks is going to get more and more potential sales, and ultimately is going to do better and better ranking on Amazon. So this is very important. If we have, let's say we have this image as well as another image that we wanted to split test. If we come to a service such as PickFu or any split testing services, there's a million out there, we can actually have real people choose between our image A and our image B. And one last thing that we can quickly look at is the more details, where we can put the actual product expiration date if you're selling like a food, or the specific launch date. That's not super essential, but also the item dimension. This is where Amazon actually hits you with FBA fees. If you don't put in what specifically your product is, and they can a lot of times guesstimate, and you will be overcharged for your FBA fees. So I really recommend that you have your actual product in hand, you measure it or get it from your manufacturer, and really figure out exactly how long, how wide, how high is the height of the item, the shipping weight, and specifically the packing dimensions, so that when it comes into Amazon, they're not just guesstimating yours and overcharging. You have the specific item dimensions and weights, and so you're getting charged the FBA fee appropriately. So if you stayed this far in the video, make sure that you're actually taking action and starting your test listing early in the process, so once again, you don't get hit with anything that's going to blindside you and potentially put you at risk if you actually make further orders. And so with all that being said, make sure to check out the other videos specifically on Helium 10 and how to really get keywords and get your listing optimized for the best potential ranking in Amazon to get the most sales. And with all this being said, I will catch you guys in the next video.